Morning. Today is Tuesday, July 31st, 2018. You're watching the Daily Mix TV by Hill Story Marketing. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. So this Thursday, McDonald's is celebrating the Big Mac's 50th anniversary with its own type of ICO, or initial coin offering. Now, no, the Golden Arches is not joining the Winklevoss twins in a Bitcoin revolution. Unlike digital currencies that have been popping up lately, the Mac coin is an actual brass-looking coin that will be handed out to Big Mac buyers at select McDonald's locations starting at lunchtime on Thursday. Customers can then redeem those coins for Big Macs starting on Friday. Mac coins come in 5 different designs, each representing a different decade over the last 50 years. So let's talk about this for 1 second. McDonald's is a very smart marketer when it comes to expanding their sphere of influence and dialing back into their original DNA and what that means to the customer. So when you think about a keepsake or a collectible, like something like this, like a Mac coin, it harkens back to the old days of Happy Meals that actually had collectibles that meant something, that also are worth something at the end of the day. So in situations like this, when you're celebrating an anniversary, make sure that the trigger you're using, in this case it's a Mac coin for McDonald's, make sure that the trigger you're using or creating is something that really does align to the base of your brand. In the case of McDonald's, it harkens back to the old days. It reminds people how long they've been around, as well as how popular the Big Mac has been over the last 50 years. Happy birthday to the Big Mac. Franchisees of 7-Eleven are upset with parent company 7-in-1 Holdings, claiming the company has made it more difficult for them to make money than ever before. At their annual convention in Kissimmee, Florida, many franchisees complain that they're forced to stock unpopular 7-Eleven branded products that, as it turns out, are less profitable than name good brands. So, franchise contracts also include $50,000 in renewal fees and requirements to stay open on Christmas, and the use of suppliers who don't necessarily guarantee favorable pricing for items stocked on shelves. Now, the interesting part about this entire story is that the product they're complaining about is known as private label, which tends to come with much higher profit margins than traditional name brand products. So what does that mean? Private label, essentially, you've got a baseline manufacturer that creates a lot of the basics or household or core items, as retail calls it, okay? So paper towels, soaps, liquids, those kinds of things, even sponges and so on. In this case, typically, those private label products are less expensive because the pipeline into the store is a lot less expensive to freight, and you're not beholden to all of these other protocols with respect to products. So for a name brand in retail, there are dollars that get allocated into marketing, and then there are dollars in terms of stocking shelves, and then, of course, what your slotting fees are, so your prominence up and down the shelf, okay? In this case, I'm going to use an example. You would typically pay less for a store-branded roll of paper towels than you would, let's say, a roll of Bounty, which I use. But the franchisees are claiming that it isn't the case here, and that they're being capitalized on by the franchisor. Look, at the end of the day, the franchise business is not that easy, folks. You are your own boss to a degree, but you also aren't, because you're beholden to the franchisor. When it comes down to the P&L of any store, the decision should ultimately rest with the franchisee as to what sells and what doesn't in their trading area. They're the ones on the ground, not the franchisor. So 7-Eleven, I'll give you a different example, in New York City is typically very expensive compared to other convenience stores, which, again, is unusual. So if you go into a 7-Eleven and you buy a soda, and I don't mean the fountain, I mean actual bottles, you buy a bottle of soda, that's going to actually be more expensive than it would at a bodega down the block, which is very odd because bodegas are very small businesses, whereas 7-Eleven is a massive business. So typically when you have a higher concentration of doors in one region, there's a cost savings that's passed on to the consumer given the power of bulk buying across the country, and in many cases regionally by these companies. Now, they keep prices low in order to maintain that customer. You don't want that customer defecting to someone else. Given the very transient nature of their business, I'm just going to assume that the holding company is trying to drive as much profit as possible. That is their job, even if it means losing some franchisees along the way. I can tell you personally, I don't go to 7-Eleven anymore because their prices are a little too egregious. Now, the old adage goes, what was once old is new again, meaning that everything in life is cyclical. Well, that could not be more true in the case of the latest and greatest from Jelly Belly. We talked about Jelly Belly a couple of weeks ago when they re-upped their deal with Krispy Kreme donuts. Well, now they've launched a new retro line that harkens back to the old penny candy days in terms of flavors and format. This retro line brings back their original flavor lineup of 8 jelly beans: chocolate Dutch mints, fruit sours, licorice bridge mix, raspberries and blackberries, and candy corn. They are now available in colorful packaging that's inspired by the 1960s. The nostalgic trip features a clear can and candy corn flip-top box that pays homage to the company's early 20th century roots. Though the clear can contains a resealable lid to ensure product freshness, the flip-top box channels the big sentimental feels by featuring a crowing rooster on top of a pile of candy corn with Golitz candy corn written in script that pays tribute to the Golitz family. So things like this are fantastic. And as you saw from the list, there's a lot here. There's a lot to be said for going back and bringing something old into the forefront of your product mix. In closing, last night my wife Kylie found a wallet on the street of a gentleman who's a painter for the Transit Authority. So of course Kylie, being the kindest person on earth, spent over an hour tracking this guy down to return it. She even called American Express and HSBC, 2 cards that were present in his wallet, to have them contact their card holder to inform him that she had it. So she contacted them at 6:30 p.m. Eastern last night. Well, 2 hours later, 8 o'clock, or an hour and a half later, the guy calls both companies and cancels his cards, asking them to send new ones. They didn't inform him that Kylie had found his wallet. Then, 30 minutes later, so a full 2 hours after she called, HSBC calls him and tells him that my wife has his wallet and gives him her phone number. Now look, no apology from HSBC, just here you go call. And he's like, wait a minute, I canceled this card already. Oh well, you can't make this crap up. But here's what's more irritating. Complete radio silence from American Express. I guess being a member no longer has its privileges. Remember folks, if you have a brand moniker, a brand line, like membership has its privileges, you had better make sure that every part of your operation owns up to that mantra. Sadly, in recent years, and this gives you the shake of my damn head of the day, American Express has done everything but that, especially in light of the recent accusations of currency conversion pricing for its customers, as it's been alleged they game the system for their profit on the backs of cardholders. I have a feeling American Express is certainly going to see their fair share of the Justice Department very soon. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO of Hill Story Marketing. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow. It's going to be hump day.